Our first lucid dream was in the midst of a time when we didn't know what lucid dreaming was, and we'd fallen prey to the idea of shifting, which we now believe is a cult, and we are luckily no longer in that particular ideology. I'll put it that way. At the time, we had been, and honestly still kind of are, utterly fucking obsessed with the video games, Half-Life video games. Particularly the main base ones, 1 and 2. We later got into sort of the spin-offs of Half-Life 1 and different things, but we love Half-Life. And at that time, we were using Half-Life as a kind of crutch or as a coping mechanism for now what we now have diagnosed as complex dissociative PTSD. But at that time it wasn't diagnosed, and we were relying on Half-Life to cope with that, among other things. And we wanted to shift to our own world, our own void, and we wanted to travel to this void and put the characters from Half-Life that were our favorite. Specifically, the G-Man from Half-Life is our favorite Half-Life character because he reminds us somewhat of both God, but also reminds us of shadows and different things, sort of like a demon god. He reminds us of our favorite god, and at the time we just really liked that character and wanted to see them in a different world, and we were also sort of in love with that character and wanted to see them for other reasons, but we didn't understand that what we were trying to do was lucid dreaming. Because we had not been presented with lucid dreaming in a rational way. And so the first time we lucid dreamed was an accident. It was not even on one of the times we were trying to shift. We were having a nightmare, a really bad nightmare, where we were in a large house being chased, and we were chased into a bathroom by one of the family members who was not a family member. They were a demon. With a mask and everything, like how we droll our demons. But they were supposed to be one of our family members, and they hurt us in the bathroom, and there was glass all over our back and blood everywhere, and it was horrifying. And then we were chased by the demon into a room with a big carpet, and we locked the door. But then we looked at the carpet, and we realized that it wasn't real, and that we were dreaming. And so we tried to shift it. We tried to make it into the world we wanted to be in instead. An office idea we'd had for the G-Man from Half-Life. And so we made this void, and we put the desk and the 1960s green lamp and a record player, and it was perfect, and a big office chair with leather. It's just sort of how we imagine his office would look like. And it was perfect, but we were still scared because of the nightmare we'd had, and so there was this voice in our mind that told us, don't leave, don't be afraid, it's all right. But we couldn't trust it, and we were so afraid from the nightmare that we just woke up. And then we recorded everything, including the details of the nightmare that we've since forgotten. And when we woke up, because we went back to sleep after recording it, when we woke up later and listened to the recording back, the parts about the nightmare were static. We played it back, and the parts where we were supposed to be describing the nightmare that happened, and we remembered that we definitely, because we were consistently using it as our dream journal, the recorder device, and we know that we recorded in it, but it would just be us talking, and then it abruptly cut off when it got to the more disturbing parts of the nightmare, and it was just static, and we'd play it back, it was just static. And at the time we believed psychotic, although they've now told us that our symptoms are actually severe PTSD, not necessarily psychosis, but it's really difficult for us to tell the difference because it feels kind of the same to us. But since the triggers are from PTSD, it's actually just severe PTSD, the doctors told us. But we played it back and we couldn't hear anything, it was just static. And we kept trying, and it wouldn't work. So we threw out the recorder because it was reminding us of the demons. Because right when it was supposed to be talking about the scary stuff that happened in the dream, it would just cut off and be static, so we threw it out because we associated it with the demon who we felt was haunting us. But looking back, we wish we didn't throw it out, because now the way we think of demons is a part of your own consciousness, and when we threw out the recorder, the demons didn't go away. It was only a temporary solution.